thank you to Study USA for hosting this live event. My name is Lainey Nguyen, and I work at the Office of International Programs for Edmonds College. And today, we're having Beth joining us to share all the information about hospitality programs and other job opportunities related to this field of study. So, Beth, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
That'd be great. Hi, my name is Beth. Hello. I am the head of the Department of Hospitality and Tourism at Edmonds College, and I am also a full-time teacher in the program. So if you come to Edmonds and get involved in our program, I will be your teacher in several of your classes. I have traveled many places in the world, and every time I travel, I want to go somewhere else. I love to travel more than anything, and I've worked in the travel industry because I love to travel for the majority of my adult life. So I have been a travel agent, an agency manager, I've been an event planner, and I have obviously now a teacher and a technology trainer in the industry. So I know a lot about the industry, but I'm always learning more because it always changes. And I'm very excited that you all are interested in wanting to learn more about it too.
I'm so glad you are able to be here and then share with us about hospitality programs because you are very experienced in this field. So let's start off with the first question about hospitality program at Edmonds College. What classes would I take in this program?
That's a great question. We have designed the program so that when you graduate, you will have the skills to work in any part of the travel industry. So you take classes in airline computers. So if you wanted to be a travel agent or work for the air desk at a cruise line or that type of thing, those are some of your classes. We have a class in tours. We have a class in cruises.
Mm-hmm.
One of the essential parts of the industry is sales. So we do have a sales class, but we also talk about travel sales throughout the program. And then you learn about world geography. And when I say world geography, it's not how high the mountains are or how long the rivers are. It's what you would do if you traveled to Timbuktu or if you traveled to Sao Paulo. Or, we learn about the different parts of the world and what travelers would experience there and how to give travelers the best possible experience if they visit there.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So I wonder, because you had quite a background in hospitality, and you became a full-time teacher. So will that be similar to the teachers who in the hospitality program as well?
Oh,
Like,
that's another great question.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
All of
no,
our
you.
teachers, thanks. All of our teachers have industry experience, and most of them are working in the industry right now. So I am no longer working in the industry full time, but I take full advantage. We have what's called an advisory committee, and these are people who work in the industry but don't teach, and they meet with us to help us plan out what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, and make sure that we're meeting the needs of training people with the skills they need to get a job. But that's my big advantage. But my other teachers in the program all work actively in the industry.
Very nice.
So you're learning from professionals.
Perfect. So will students have a lot of homework?
That's a good question too. It really depends on the class. A lot of our classes we design so you do the work when you're in class. And the reason for that is we feel it's very important that you have a chance to ask your questions right when you have them. We do a lot of group work in our program, so you get to know all the fellow students in the class and learn from them, and they learn from you.
Oh, very
So I wouldn't say there's a lot of homework in the program. There is reading in every class required. There is some outside work, but we try to do a lot of it in class so you have the hands-on experience and you get the help you need.
nice. So, as we are mentioning about different type of homeworks and studying methods, my question is, what study options do you have for hospitality?
Most of our classes are taught in person now that,
Mm-hmm.
well, and hopefully that will stay the same. COVID changed everything and we did teach online all of last
Mm-hmm.
year. But we teach in person, so again, so that you have that one-on-one interaction. We also, once you take classes, we have 5 different options for certificates and degrees. So if you want to do a certificate, that is our shortest option. It takes 3 to 4 quarters, and it gives you the most of the travel classes we offer. Certificate is great for somebody who already has another college degree or has already worked some in the industry. That's who we really suggest the certificate for.
I see.
Then we have 4 associate degree options, and it really depends on what you want to do when you graduate, how much further you want to go with your education. So we have one just called an Associate of Technical Arts degree. It includes all of our travel classes, everything in the program, as well as a business communications class, a math class, the other kind of more basic requirements. Then we have a business and management Associate of Technical Arts degree that has more, also all of the travel classes, but then has more business classes, so you get a little more background in business. Neither of those degrees transfer to a 4-year school, though. So if you want to transfer and earn a bachelor's degree after you've come to Edmonds, we have 2, actually 3, but I'll talk about 2 of the major options. One of them is a transfer program to Central Washington University. And Central Washington is located on our campus, so you don't have to leave Linwood, but you can earn a full bachelor's degree by 2 years with us and 2 years with Central. The Central program doesn't teach travel, but it teaches business and administrative management. So you get the travel side of things from us and then a business degree from Central Washington. The 4th option is a transfer to South Seattle College. And South Seattle does offer a hospitality business management program. So you do 2 years at Edmonds, and then you do 2 years at South Seattle, and again, earn a bachelor's degree in 4 years. That's the design.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. We recently also had a connection develop again with La Roche, which is a university out of Switzerland. They primarily do training to work in hotels. So we do have a connection with them as well. We're kind of working on finalizing what exact classes you would take at La Roche, but if you take the hospitality business management program, then you can transfer to La Roche. So I guess we actually have 6 options.
Wow. Thank you. That was like a very detailed description about all the courses available. As you mentioned about certificate program, I also wonder, like, if a student they already achieved a certificate in hospitality, can they, but like they decided to move on to associate degree later? Is that possible?
Absolutely. The classes you take in the certificate program are part of all of our degrees. So if you take the certificate and then decide, like you said, Lainey, that you want to move on and get an associate degree or even move on for the bachelor's degree, that's easy to do. You graduate with the certificate, but we also transfer all those classes to whatever degree program you're working towards. So you don't lose anything.
And I just want to let our audience know that you can send in questions and we'll follow with that. And hello to everyone who say hi in the chat.
Hi.
All right, so let's move on to the jobs opportunities in this hospitality field of study. What jobs can students get after they graduate from the hospitality?
A lot. There's a lot of possibilities. A lot of our students become travel agents, working in a travel agency, moving into management if they want to do that, because we are training you again to work in any part of the industry. You can work for the airlines. We have students who want to be flight attendants, and flight attendant programs in the US and internationally always require some type of degree. So either an associate degree for a lot of the airlines in the US or a bachelor's degree for a lot of the international airlines. So if you want to work for an airline in your home country, it's a great idea to get a bachelor's degree here in the United States, because you also prove that you are fluent in English and you can go to school in English, which is a huge benefit when you're traveling internationally. But that really will help for the flight attendant possibility. You can work for the airlines and reservations. You can work for tour companies and reservations. You can work for tour companies as a tour guide, although that is a much more difficult thing to do. Not very many of our students have moved into that area because you really have to be an expert in the places you're guiding to. So, but if you wanted to be a tour guide for your home country, come here to go to school and then go back to do that, that is something that a couple of our students in the past have done. The other thing that's really growing, and I'm very excited about it, in many other countries in the world, is the cruise industry. We have a hometown cruise line here in Seattle, Holland, America. Their base of operations is in Seattle. And we train people to go to work for them as well in many different aspects. And a lot of cruise lines are starting to cruise to Asia, to Africa, to the South Pacific. They've always kind of done it, but it's becoming bigger. And cruise lines are starting business in Asia, in South Pacific. So again, if your home country is in Europe or if your home country is in Asia and you are interested in the cruise industry, there are growing options all the time for jobs. And the last area that most people end up going to work in, my international students, there's a lot of people interested in the hotel industry because hotels are worldwide and you have a lot of options to, get the job you want and move up and continue to learn. And we also train for that as well. You take a hotel management class in the program, and the sales and customer service you learn will benefit you there as well.
Nice. So for our international students, OPT is a very popular program as it allows international students to have experience at studying. So will they have jobs opportunity once they done studying in this Seattle area?
Yes, absolutely. Again, if you're interested in the hotel industry, that's a great place to do OPT. They are very open to people who are able to work here in the United States for a year. And one of the big advantages you can have is work for the hotel industry in an international hotel company so that you could maybe transfer back to your home country when you finished your OPT here. We have several travel agencies in the Seattle area that specialize in international travel to certain areas. So for example, if you are a Japanese speaker, we have 5 travel agencies in the Seattle area that concentrate on trips for Japanese speakers to either come to the US or for Japanese speakers to go other places in the world. So again, the bilingual issue is a huge benefit to you. Most Americans only know one language. So the fact that you're coming here and going to school in English is a huge benefit when you're applying for jobs in the travel industry. OPTs are a little harder to do with the cruise lines. They would really rather have you longer than a year, so it's a little tougher to get that kind of job. So I would say travel agencies and hotels are the best options for OPTs.
Thank you for sharing that. It's really helpful.
Good, thanks.
Yeah. So should we move to the trivia section?
Oh yeah, trivia sounds fun.
Some things about, yes.
Okay.
Do you know?
Sure. So I have some trivia questions, and I don't know quite how we want to get these answered. I think I'll just throw out the question, and then if you want to answer in the chat, or if you just kind of want to answer in your head, then I'll tell you what the answer is afterwards. So these are trivia about our program and about our area. So we talked about hotels. The first question is a true or false question. So is this question true or false? There are 114 hotels in the Linwood area. That means the area right around Edmonds College. Do you think that's true or false? Okay, it is true. We have 114 hotels in the Linwood area, and that does not include Seattle. And so there are a lot of options for working in hotels if that's something that you're interested in doing. Okay. Another true or false question. There really aren't any great restaurants in the Linwood area. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's false? Lainey knows.
I know, because I love this area so much because of the food.
Exactly. There
Yeah.
are fabulous restaurants all around Linwood. And I say Linwood because Edmonds College, even though it's called Edmonds College, is actually located in the city of Linwood. So it's a little confusing. But Edmonds is another city that's also right nearby. So it's, anyway, Linwood, Edmonds, there are great restaurants. And I'm not going to say a true false on this really quickly, but we have on our college campus an absolutely fantastic gourmet restaurant that is run by the students in our culinary arts program. And they offer lunch either to eat at the restaurant or to take out and eat at home. It is fantastic. Can't possibly recommend it enough. It's really reasonably priced and amazing food. So, okay, another true false question. True or false? There is a big shopping mall that is a short bus ride from campus, and it has 2 megaplex movie theaters. Is that true or false? That one is also true. We have a really great mall called Alderwood Mall. 1 bus ride, easy to get to from campus. Great stores, great restaurants, but also movies. Can you tell my favorite thing is movies? I love movies. So, and the movie theaters have just now opened back up and are showing, blockbuster movies. So come see that. Let me see. This is a true and false, but you have to have listened to what I said earlier if you get this right. Holland America Cruise Line is based in Seattle. True or false? That one is true. So we have a lot of people who go to work for Holland America. They also work for Princess Cruises in Seattle. If you want for the summer to do an internship, they have a program where you work at the Port of Seattle and help people find the line they should get in to check into the cruise and how their luggage and where to park and all that kind of thing. It's a great internship. You're outdoors. It's beautiful. And that's a great option for students too. Let me see. Here's another true false. There are over 900 wineries in Washington State. So companies that produce wine. That one is also true. We are one of the most actively growing wine areas in the country. Our wines are fabulous. And if you like wine or if you would like to work in the wine industry, that's actually part of hospitality. And that would be a great direction to go in if you were interested in that. Okay. True or false? Vancouver, Canada is about 8 hours away from Linwood. That one's false. If you want to visit Vancouver, Canada, or Victoria, Canada, which is another option too, it's about 3.5 hours away. You can go by train, you can go by car, you can take the bus. There are lots of options to get to Canada. It does involve making a small tweak to your student visa, so you have to do a little bit of planning to do that. But Canada just opened up to visitors, so hopefully by the time you come and see us here at Edmonds, that'll be an easy thing to do and a great weekend option because Canada's fabulous. Okay. One last question, one last true false. Edmonds College has its own golf course. True or false? That one's kind of true. And I say kind of because Edmonds doesn't own the golf course, but we do have a wonderful 9-hole golf course on our campus that's owned by the city of Linwood. And so if you are a golfer, take a study break, go hit a round of golf, come back and study some more. It's a great option. Those are my trivia questions.
Thank you, Beth, for sharing this. Also, I got some new questions from our student inquiry.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So they were asking if they can start the hospitality programs in any quarters or it must be in certain quarters only.
Okay, terrific question. The only hospitality program that you really should start in the fall quarter is the certificate. And the only reason I say that is because if you don't start in the fall, it will take you much longer to finish because we only offer most of our classes one time each year. But if you decide to do any of our degree programs, remember we have 4 associate degree programs. Any of those can be started in absolutely any quarter. So there's no requirement for you to, be here at a certain time to get started.
I see. And also, what makes hospitalities program at Edmonds stand out from the others in your opinion?
Oh, great question. Well, obviously, I love my program. I think it's fabulous, and our students get really good jobs that they really enjoy afterwards, and that makes me happy because that means I did my job correctly. But what makes our program really stand out? A number of things. We have, as I mentioned before, professional instructors. So the teachers that you have work in the industry, understand the industry, have connections in the industry, and can bring great speakers in to, or mentors in to talk to you. So lots of professionalism from the industry in our faculty. Another reason is that honestly, we are one of the few programs that has a really terrific transfer program. So, like I talked about, if you want to earn a bachelor's degree, and especially if you want to earn a bachelor's degree and really study the travel industry, we have that program where you do 2 years at Edmonds and 2 years at South Seattle. You study the hospitality industry the entire time, and you graduate and you're ready to step into a management role in a hotel, in a travel agency, in a tour company, even an event planning company. I know we don't teach specifically event planning, but that's another option as well. So I think those are the main factors. There aren't really a lot of hospitality programs, especially in Washington State anymore. There are a couple of others, but they offer much less. I'm not going to say bad things about them because they're both good programs, but we train people to work in any part of the industry. They are much more focused. If you want to work in airline reservations, you go to Highline College. They have those kind of things, but they're very specific. Ours is much more broad, much more inclusive, and I think, as I said, you have a chance to get a really fabulous job when you leave us, and that's what our goal is.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah. Just a reminder, you can send in questions at any time and then we'll follow up with it.
Oh, I see a question here about liberal arts. I'm glad you asked that question because I need to really explain that we are not a liberal arts program. Um, the college has two types of study, general large types. One is liberal arts transfer programs. Those are programs where you take general classes at Edmonds, English, math, philosophy, sociology, history, those kind of classes. And then you transfer to a 4-year university and take more of those classes and get a bachelor's degree in your area of interest. So science, liberal arts, that kind of thing. Our program is the other half of the college, and we're called professional technical. And we teach people specific skills and abilities to work in specific industries. So, again, for me, it's the travel industry. If you wanted to work as a chef in a restaurant, you'd go to our culinary arts program. If you wanted to work in construction, you'd go to our construction management program. Because we specialize in those skills and abilities, we don't have a transfer relationship with every university. Like, for example, if you take the hospitality and tourism program, you can't transfer to the University of Washington. That is not anything wrong with our program or anything wrong with the University of Washington. It's just that they want a liberal arts degree and we are skill based. So, again, we're training you specific skills and abilities to work in an industry, not kind of more general. I love liberal arts degrees. I have one. That was what my degree was in. And so I understand the interest. I really do. I noticed Marta Acosta Peters put a note in the chat. We do have transfer relationships, or not transfer relationships. I shouldn't say this way. You can take our program and transfer to other universities, but it's possibly going to require additional coursework when you get to the university because, again, we don't have a seamless transfer except for to La Roche, as she mentioned. But all the other places, yes, we have had people transfer to other places, but not necessarily seamlessly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It just takes
Yes,
a little more
I totally
advice
get
and a little more planning. Okay.
Yeah. And we got a new question.
Mhm.
Can students receive credits for prior work experience?
That is a good question, and one we get every once in a while. In limited cases, and I want to stress limited, the answer is yes. If you, for example, I'm just going to make something up, worked for a cruise line for a number of years, and then you come to Edmonds to earn a degree with us, there is a way to, for example, waive that cruise class. You could take another class or something. You still have to have the total number of credits. So if you ask for receiving credit for prior work experience, not necessarily. But in terms of if you have prior work experience and you don't need a particular class or a couple of classes, then you have options to take something else that you maybe would benefit you to graduate with a degree. So it's a little bit of a tough question, and we do it on a case-by-case basis. So if anyone asking that question does want to ask that before they come to Edmonds, we can communicate, we can talk about it and see what we can do.
I see. Perfect. It also make me wonder, like, will some form of homework require you to go to a restaurant or like a hotel to have some like just a quick practice for homework? Will that be a thing?
Not so much that, but one thing we do require in I think 2 or 3 of our classes are informational interviews. And informational interviews is when you connect with somebody who works in the industry. And again, we don't really do the restaurant industry. So ours would be more hotels or travel agencies or something like that, flight attendants. In an informational interview, you reach out to somebody who works in the industry and you ask them questions about their job, what they like, what they dislike, what their daily work life is. And it really helps you learn more about another industry that maybe you haven't explored before. But we don't, field trip kind of things. We used to do field trips all the time. We don't do those as much anymore because it's really hard to get all of the students' schedules merged together so we can leave campus because so many people also work or have families or have other things going on. But yeah, we do informational interviews, which gives you a chance to really connect up with other people in the industry before you do an internship, before you try to plan your OPT.
So Beth, with like so many years experience in the travel industry, Martha has another question for you. What do you think is the future of the travel industry with this pandemic?
Yay, I'm so glad you asked that question, Martha. Thank you. The travel industry has had a tough time. Everybody knows that. The pandemic really damaged the industry. Having said that, it also was a good thing in some ways. And I know that's hard to think about, that anything in this pandemic was good. But for example, it caused a lot of the companies to rethink the way they handle safety. Cruise lines are a great example. Cruise lines now have all kinds of safety protocols that they did not have before, which is only beneficial to the students, to the guests. And we teach all those things in the program, all the new things that are happening. Everything we teach is what's happening right now. We don't, when I prepare for a class, it pretty much is like starting over every single time because nothing in the industry stays the same. So I want to teach you what is happening right now and what might be happening in the near future. So I'm working all the time to do that, and all of my teachers are. But again, the industry, I don't know how it is, and other countries are facing the pandemic in different ways in terms of their mandates for safety protocols, as well as getting vaccinations and things like that. Having said that, the travel industry is coming back. I just got back from Ireland. I took an 8-day trip to Ireland because I love to travel and I was tired of being in Washington State for a while. I needed a break from Washington State. It's a wonderful place, but when you travel a lot, you get this urge to travel all the time. And my trip to Ireland was amazing. They wore masks everywhere and they were only dining outside. That was all great. It worked fine. And I'm so glad I went and I loved every second of it. So I think, and the planes were pretty full. So I think the travel industry is on its way back. This Delta variant is a pain and it's going to be challenging. But if you come and do a 2-year degree, I'm going to make this prediction and I hope it comes true. I think it will. If you come and do a 2-year degree at Edmonds College, by the time you graduate, the travel industry will be back to full steam. There will be jobs. I mean, there already are jobs right now. There are tons of jobs because the industry is coming back and so many people left the industry or were laid off and now they want to do something different. So they need new blood, they need new people, they need excited people, and that's what we're training you to be.
That's exciting to hear. Hopefully.
It is for me
I
too.
hope it will come true for our hospitality students.
I do too.
Oh, Sabza, I think she missed what you have talked about earlier. She is asking, how long does the course last?
Okay. So again,
Yeah.
if you started in the fall, you could get a certificate in 3 to 4 quarters. So if you started in the fall and you took all of the classes you needed, you could finish up in the end of spring. So from September to June. That is our certificate program. Our degree programs all are around 90 credits, which usually is done in 2 years. And that is assuming that you don't take summer quarter. A lot of students take summer quarter off and go home or, just take a break. And you can certainly do that. If you go basically 6 quarters, so fall, winter, spring, take summer quarter off, and then fall, winter, spring, you can complete a degree at Edmonds in hospitality and tourism.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, as a teacher, what would be your advice to students so they can successfully study throughout the course?
That's a very good question. Obviously, I'm a teacher, so I'm going to say the main way that you can be successful is realize that even if a class that you are taking is not what you think you want to do. So for example, you're taking the tours class and you think, I don't ever want to work in the tour industry. I want to be a flight attendant. I truly believe that everything you learn is valuable, even if you don't directly apply it to something right away. So my best suggestion is go into the program thinking, I am going to learn so many things that will impact my future, because that's what college really is. College is a chance to learn how to think really analytically, learn how to really be a successful person in the world. I mean, we all know how to do that a little bit, but college really helps you with that. And, learn the skills and abilities to work in any part of the industry. Because oftentimes, I've had this happen so many times. I had a student once who thought that she really, really, really wanted to be a travel agent. She thought that was the best thing she could possibly ever do. So she came and did our program. She did great in the program. She took all the classes. And she was a travel agent for about a year and decided that it wasn't her thing. It didn't really suit who she was. So she applied to work for an airline in reservations. She got that job. This was 10 years ago. She's still doing it. She absolutely loves it. If she had only worked on classes that she thought would help her as a travel agent and didn't really care about the airline classes, she wouldn't be as successful as she is now. So again, I think going into the program with the idea that everything you're going to learn is going to be valuable, that sounds very self-serving, but it's true. I mean, we don't spend a lot of time on things that we don't think you're going to use. So that would be my main suggestion. The other thing is be open to people from all over the world and with different ideas, because we have students from all over the world. We have students who are just graduated from high school. My oldest student I ever had was 76 years old when he started the program, did the 2-year program, graduated, worked for another 5 years, and then retired. So he just wanted to do something different with his life. And we have students in every age range, every background. So be open to that, because we learn so much from each other. I learn from every single one of my students, and I really value that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And as far as I know this is just an extra question. I know Edmonds College has a partnership with two hospitality university, La Roche and Guyon. So what is the special thing about this connection? Like, what would be the advantage for students who transfer from Edmonds College to those two universities?
The main advantage is that those are really international universities. So again, one of the biggest benefits for you to put on your resume when you graduate from Edmonds College is that you took all of these classes in English, because English isn't necessarily your home language. It might be. I know we have international students from countries that are English speakers as well. But that is a big advantage, is that you have those specific industry skills and you can communicate in one or more languages very, very well. Going to someplace like La Roche, for example, you're going to meet students from all over the world like you do from Edmonds, but then you're training in a much more intense, much more industry focused program. And that sounds strange, but a lot of what you do at La Roche is working in industry, connecting with industry. We don't do that as much here. We have your internship and then your optional OPT, but La Roche is deeply involved with the hotel industry. So you have to do I think it's almost a year internship. It's not quite a year, but you have to do a really intense internship with them. You really have those industry connections. So when you graduate from one of those two universities, especially if you want to work in the hotel industry, you will not have a problem getting a job, and a really good job. So I don't know if that totally answers your question, Lainey.
No, it's really good to hear about it, because all I know is that we have a partnership with them, but I don't know exactly what would it be to like the transfer process and what would be the focus after finishing study at Edmonds College.
Yeah.
So I also learned a lot from you, so I can help with our future students.
Oh, good, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, in the transfer process, that's something that students would work with both me and work with you, because the transfer process to those two is a little more complicated than our degrees that are direct transfers to the two universities I talked about.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not doable. It just means we need to make sure that we've done everything right, and your path is really well laid out so that you get the transfer that you want.
Yeah. It's just good that we have different options for our students. That's
Absolutely.
great. Yeah. Sabza also, she has another question. If we have rooms on campus at the college, and the answer is yes. We have 2 big dormitories and they are very modern. So we also have a special promotion going on for international students. You will get $500 off if you choose to stay on our housing on the campus. So just so you know.
And it's really nice housing. It's fairly new. Within the last 5 years, I think. I don't remember exactly when it was built, but yes, it's very modern. It's really nice. It's right on campus.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So is there any questions that you guys want to send in before we wrap this up?
If you think of other questions after this, 'cause sometimes you walk away and then in the middle of the night you have a brilliant question. If you think of other questions after this, email our department or our international programs office, and they will forward the questions to me, and I will happily, between the two of us, we will get them all answered for you as soon as possible.
Yeah, so I noticed in the chat section, we do have many other different questions related to different field, and I'll follow up with you guys through our Office of International Program emails. And I also leave our contact information in the chat section, just so you can follow up with us later. And then if it is the questions related to hospitality, I'll forward it to Beth and she will follow up with you guys. So thank you so much for joining with us today and sending in like a lot of good questions. Thank you, Beth, for being here and sharing with us about lots of like useful information for hospitality. And thank you, Study USA, for hosting this event.
Absolutely. Yes. And thank you, all of you who came. We really appreciate it. And Lainey, thanks for being such a wonderful moderator for us. And thank you, Study USA. We're thrilled to be involved in being able to do this. So we hope to see you come to Edmonds.
Yeah, hope to see you soon. Stay safe, everyone. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, goodbye, Beth. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Goodbye.